anything up. What did I turn up? What did I turn on earlier? That's the real question.
Shared our location with the government.
Was Twitter down today, or was it just Facebook?
Not Twitter. Twitter doesn't matter.
Didn't affect my life at all.
Yeah, yeah. Don't worry.
I was on a hike for 5 hours. So
There you go. Didn't affect your life at all either.
Didn't know. Great hike.
You ready? We good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Rock and roll. Oh, John, is there anything special we need to get to your game of scones?
I got it.
Okay, cool. All right, and welcome to Fast Break Breakfast, NBA podcast. My name is Keith, here once again with my buddies through the miracle of computer phone, who were Chuck Anderson.
Right now.
And with John Burr.
Gentlemen, it is upon us.
It is upon us, John. We're recording this on a Monday evening. There are a boatload of NBA games on, and this is not like that little Nets-Lakers game on Sunday where it was all scrubs. Sorry, LaMarcus Aldridge. There's like legitimate starters playing against each other. The Thunder are already holding guys out for tanking. Like this, tonight it feels like the season's actually happening. Like there was moments where I'm watching like Hawks. Who are they playing?
Hawks Heat,
Hawks
baby.
Heat. Yeah, Chuck's Heat. And I'm like, this is real basketball. These are real
Tyler
players.
Hero.
Both teams had real players on the court. Yeah. It's happening, guys. Are you ready? Are you guys ready?
I'm ready. Are you guys ready for the Miami Heat's leading scorer to be Tyler Hero? Because that's my take.
Is that your take?
Right,
if that's the case, I think maybe you're feeling a most improved player.
What's up?
We're going to make some predictions later in the show about the major awards categories, maybe make up some of our own. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe is it too early to get into the basketball talk? Should perhaps we start?
If you'd like to make the odds for Tyler Hero to be most improved player, sitting at a cool plus 5,000, Chuck.
50-1, Chuck, for most improved. Honestly, he was your pick last year.
He was.
I don't know if that matters at all.
Also, my pick for sixth man of the year and somehow also rookie of the year.
Might as
even
well.
though it is the second season.
Listen, people will tell you to diversify your investments. I think no. Put all the eggs in one basket. Because if that hits, if you're playing that roulette and your number comes up, yes, sir.
And you know what kind of money are you going to make when a second year player wins rookie of the year and you had a bet on?
Who are these people? Because like Warren Buffett has like 4 investments. I think maybe the people who want you to diversify your portfolio.
It's Fidelity. It's Fidelity.com. They send me an email a lot.
They're the people who really want you to.
They were like, listen, you need to get
can.
out of Lego and you need to buy a mutual fund.
Right.
You need to get an index fund this second. No, let's do breakfast. John, have you had breakfast?
Did I ever? I had a really weird breakfast, Chuck. I had garlic Misazuke steak.
Ooh.
For breakfast.
Yeah.
I ate at a kind of like a fancy joint and had the fanciest brunch I've ever had. But whatever garlic Misazuke steak is, that's what I had for breakfast. I had steak and eggs, kicking it off strong.
With the best thing, I'm a child. I can't have garlic for breakfast.
Okay.
Like I can't do it. Like that, it lives with me all day. I have to have that for the final meal of the day.
I feel like it's lived with me today. My skin looks brighter.
Yeah.
I feel more feel zestier, but I also will probably emit some sort of like fumage
there's some emissions.
And probably have since the early AM. But
that's an incredible brunch. This is a Monday brunch.
That's opulent.
That is opulent. So that's the only word for it. Thanks, Chuck.
Garlic miso-zuke. So miso is a soybean paste, and then zuke is the Japanese word for pickling. So
I think it was like maybe the garlic because they had big pieces. This may gross you up further. Had whole cloves of garlic around the steak. You know,
I can handle that as a garnish. I'm not supposed to consume it, am I?
I was doing, and the steak was very LeBron. LeBron style. The steak was cut for me, and I was jabbing a piece of steak and then jabbing a piece of garlic. I was very systematic about it, very OCD.
We know LeBron has had steak cutters. Are there any players currently that we know have, like, is anyone getting fed in the NBA? Is there any player who has someone cutting and then actually serving
Zion going to eat?
Zion does it on his own. You can tell the joy that man has eating. I don't think.
I don't know if there's any like steak cutters, but I'm betting there are NBA players who are trying to figure out, like, scouring the globe for doppelgangers to get shots for them so they can play in Brooklyn this year. I wouldn't be surprised if a guy named Kyrie.
Are we going to talk about the escapades of Lazar Hayward, former Minnesota Timberwolf, arrested in Hawaii for falsifying COVID documents?
Look, it's just real out there. Everybody's out there trying to figure out a way to scheme the system instead of just buying in. Be a sheep for once. Get you your shot.
It's unbelievable that there's this free thing. It's free. Right. And you're getting arrested for false. Like you're paying someone to have a fake card. I'm lost.
Dark times.
Our producers have been giving us the echo chamber note a lot recently, so we can move on from that. Chuck, what was your breakfast?
I'm not going to talk about breakfast.
Oh,
I'm going to talk about dinner.
Okay.
The event I had. So I skipped work. Hopefully my boss isn't listening. I went on a 5-hour hike. Wonderful hike in Grundy County, Tennessee. Beautiful views, waterfalls, the whole nine. When we're leaving, trying to find somewhere to eat because I need to make it back to Nashville for the podcast. Found a restaurant, and I'm going to blast it out.
Okay.
This restaurant was terrible. It was called Taste of Europe. I, for some reason, picked it because it was just on the way home. It's in Manchester, Tennessee. For some reason, I thought Manchester, Tennessee would have the ability to put together a restaurant. Wrong. They could put together a music festival. That's where Bonnaroo is.
Didn't happen this year.
So I show up, Taste of Europe.
So you're at Taste of Europe in Grundy County, Tennessee?
Woo! No, this is in Manchester.
Oh, never Manchester. I don't know. That me neither.
Stones on this guy.
So I show up. It's nobody greets us. There's no like hostess. The bartender yells at us, "Hey, if you want to sit outside, we're the only people masked. If you want to sit outside, we have a patio." So we go out there, wait 20 minutes. No one shows up. Then the bartender comes out, hands us 2 menus. It's European. I don't know why it's European. It should just be called the food that the chef figured out he wants to cook. It's like spaghetti and meatballs, fish and chips, Bavarian pretzels.
That's 3 European countries right there.
Yeah, and a tour.
Yeah, you're in a full food tour.
There was a schnitzel. It was a lot.
We got the schnitzel.
We sat there.
That's 4 countries by my book.
4 countries. Then there was a Bulgarian dish. I don't know. It is a Taste of Europe.
I don't know. I'm sorry. What did Bulgarians?
I don't know what they eat.
A stroganoff?
I'm gonna say bulgogi, even though that's like Korean.
No, it's Korean for sure. I don't know. Maybe. So I order the fish and chips because the only thing I'm going to trust on that menu.
Yeah.
And 40 minutes. Sat there for 40 minutes before I went inside, asked the bartender, "What's up, bro?" And he goes, "Let me check." And we just left. And then on the way home, it's an hour drive, ordered Chinese food, matched some Chinese food. So if you're ever in Manchester, Tennessee, avoid Taste of Europe. Also probably avoid Manchester in general.
I mean, just because you had a bad experience at one, restaurant, we can't put the whole city down. County. No. I mean,
the Mancunians are coming for us after this.
Look, episode. I've eaten at the O'Charlie's in Manchester, and
sure have.
The Logan Steakhouse multiple times. Wonderful service.
You were trying to find you don't want that chain. You wanted an independent restaurateur.
I wanted to support.
You wanted a
business.
diners, drive in and dive. You were trying to help out. You're doing your Guy Fieri
Roll
thing.
the dice. How can you go wrong with fish and chips? Well,
does this Taste of Europe
go there?
Did their sign have like a leaning tower of Pisa on it? I feel like I've seen it. Or is this something else?
It had a spoon. It was a spoon.
Not even
spoon.
shaped like Italy's boot
No.
or something. I don't know what a spoon shape we could work with here.
I can't. No.
I'll do my.
Just don't go there.
I'll do my breakfast. My breakfast. I had a great American breakfast. I had chocolate chip cookies. My wife has we're now, she's vaguely gluten-free now. Not by choice.
Chuck and I know exactly what you mean when you say vaguely gluten-free.
Well, hers is totally involuntary. She said she's had some food issues this year. Hasn't been a very, very pleasant journey. She's figuring out what she can eat right now. But she did make some chocolate chip cookies that were gluten-free, and I'm allowed to have two. And I had them both breakfast style, which is when I eat them before 8 a.m. And so, yeah, black coffee, chocolate chip cookie. It felt healthy. Like, it feels healthy.
I feel like I'm going to implore you to try something, anything, garlic even, just for the sake of like breaking the monotony of the breakfasts. You got to do something just once a week. Just once a week. No sugar, no black coffee, something else.
I can't have coffee.
Put something in the coffee.
I mean, all right, maybe
put a shot of espresso in
garlic Mizuzuke coffee.
I'll say my lunches have actually been very breakfast themed. My lunches, because I eat lunch with my youngest every day, make her basically the same thing. She has a slice of cheese. She has a few pieces of pepperoni. She'll either have some peanut butter and crackers or just a plain tortilla, and then a large slice. Did I say the cheese yet? Large slice of cheese and a bunch of strawberries and raspberries. And that's like her daily thing. And so I take the strawberries and raspberries. I have some of those. I normally make myself a little omelet, throw a little either, Texas Pete's on there, maybe a Louisiana hot sauce on top. But I basically have like an omelet and fruit, and then sometimes some Cheerios for lunch almost every day now. So like that has become, that's a breakfast. That's like a full breakfast. Sometimes some yogurt with that too, mix the fruit and the yogurt. So honestly, my lunches have been a very, very, very breakfast themed and less sugary. I guess that it's not healthy yogurt. It's very sugary yogurt. Hopefully that'll at least break up the monotony there for you, John.
Thank you. That was like a smorgasbord.
Yeah. Well, let's move on.
What are those horns full of food? Was that a cornucopia? What was
cornucopia? The horn of plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, those were our breakfasts. After our breakfast, we moved to our breakfast in bed apologies. This is our chance to make right what we might have gotten wrong on any previous episode. Does anyone have anything that they need to make right? Yes, Chuck, why don't you go first?
So I want to apologize to A Taste of Europe. They aren't in Manchester. That is a restaurant in Pigeon Forge.
Oh, no.
The one that I'm disparaging is Bites of Europe.
Bites of Europe.
A Taste of Europe knockoff.
This is my first in-show apology. This is a monumental day.
This is good. Also, listeners should know Pigeon Forge and Manchester, Tennessee, hundreds of miles apart from each other. Just for the geography of our listeners who aren't immediately
Chuck, where were you really
with Tennessee?
Where were you actually today before calling in late to the podcast?
I'm the one that's always asking to start early. You had to know.
That's right.
I had to have something terrible happen to me if I was going to start the podcast late because I get up in the morning.
Of Europe. All right. We'll avoid
Bites of Europe. Never go there.
So if we're in Pigeon Forge, we can go to A Taste of Europe. That's fine.
I'm going to guess it's probably safe. That's a Pigeon Forge is at least a tourist town.
Dollywood is? Is that?
Yes.
It is. Okay.
Yeah. So sorry. Also, apparently I called Antoine Moore multiple times last week. I don't remember.
One of our listeners
historically said, Black Jesse caught you.
Said you might have slipped up and said Antoine Moore a few times when discussing Antoine Moore.
It's possible.
We did discuss Antoine Moore at length, so who can blame you? John, what do you need to apologize for?
I need to apologize to like at least half the players who changed teams this offseason when I convince myself that they're still on their old team. Like as I'm going through, I and I'll get to this later, I was kind of checking out some new Grizzlies gear this year. I just see Steven Adams' giant Aquaman face, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's on the Grizzlies. And now, and it's just getting me ready for that beginning of the year sensation of just being like, well, I'll be Kyle Lowry on the Heat. My God, my word, fancy that. But it's not the Kyle Lowrys. It's the guys who like who just kind of slip around. Like, it's going to take me a little. I'm going to forget multiple times which team Devontae Graham plays for. It's just going to happen. It's just going to happen.
Who's Austin Rivers with?
He's still on the Nuggets.
Wait, didn't the Lakers sign an Austin Rivers?
Austin Reeves, I believe, is the guy's name.
Sorry, wrong one.
I believe he's a kid from Arkansas who played in high school against Malik Monk, but now they're teammates in Los Angeles.
That's what's up.
If I have those names wrong or that anecdote wrong,
Keith is verbally retweeting something.
Not going. I am not.
That is very specific information.
It is indeed. My apology. I will say last week we were talking about the guys who are refusing to get vaccinated and how it's going to affect their team's bottom line, and how if Wiggins ends up, holding out, Wiggins did not hold out when they threatened his money. He said, I will, yes, take the shot. But we thought it would be great luxury tax savings, but the Players Association and the league got together and they worked it out that there would be no luxury tax savings for players who miss due to not being in compliance with local laws regarding vaccination. So I apologize for getting that wrong, or at least suggesting there would be motivation for the Lakers of the world, for their guys, to encourage their guys maybe not to do it, to maybe save a buck. This is also why if a player gets killed, their money is not removed from the salary cap sheet, because they don't want to be tempting any of these owners to
much like
to act out.
The bird rule, I believe that one is called the Daily.
Yeah, so that's why some of these rules exist. And sorry, guys, you still got to pay. You don't have to pay their salaries, but you still got to pay their luxury tax. I don't know how that works, really. I mean, I know Kyrie is going to miss. Well, and also unrelated to Kyrie, Ben Simmons, who's vaccinated, he's just missing $300,000 per game he sits out. And I know he has $8.2 million that has been put into an escrow account where they're going to deduct the fines from that. I don't know what an escrow is. I think that's how I pay my property tax, but I don't know how it works.
I'm pretty sure escrow is a French dish made of snails.
Thank you, Chuck.
They sell it. They sell it
as a special dish. Yeah.
To Bites. Sold at Bites of Europe.
If you're getting escargot at Bites of Europe, you better get your last rights with those.
Yeah. Oh, also last week I was talking about the state of Wisconsin giving away a bridge. I said trestle bridge when I meant truss bridge. I know that was driving several listeners insane.
Couldn't get Ohio State coaches out of your mind. Jim Tressel, Urban Meyer grinding on young women. What a week for Urban.
Were you going to tie that back into a bridge somehow, or just leave that floating out there?
Bridges of Madison County being enacted in a sports bar.
Those were our breakfast in bed apologies. Before we get to our steak and eggs best thing, I need to tell you one sec. I need to tell you that single game tickets are on sale for the Grizzlies for the 21-22 season right now at grizzlies.com/tickets, or by calling 1-800-4-NBA-TIX. That's the number 4 NBA-TIX. Don't miss Ja, Jaren, and your next gen Grizz as they battle the Lakers, Nets, Warriors, and more, starting at just $10 per game. Plus, get your seats to celebrate Grizzlies legends Zach Randolph and Tony Allen's retirement nights. You can get your tickets right now. Get the biggest nights. Get the best giveaways. For more information, Visit grizzlies.com now. All right, steak and eggs, gentlemen. What's the best thing? What's your steak and eggs best thing that you have seen in the last week? John, what's your steak and eggs?
So the past few years, as a fat guy who inexplicably buys NBA jerseys yet never wears them, I've kind of been painted into a corner with these new jerseys, and the only appealing jerseys have been like the Miami Heat Vice Wave jerseys. I mean, I still get the Grizzlies ones because I'm addicted to them and have like Stockholm syndrome about them and convince myself that like Stack's record looking jerseys is a good idea on a white dude, but whatever. This year, however, I have seen like 3 jersey leaks, one of which is the Grizzlies, and all 3 of them have been like complete gasoline straight fire. I'm definitely going to get a Grizzlies, probably, hopefully, as some sort of augury for the future, Jaren Jackson Jr. jersey. Maybe if they will finally make a DeAnthony Melton jersey, I can buy one. I doubt it happens. And then the Indiana Pacers new one looks amazing to me. So I might finally get, and this, I think I can get the whitest jersey.
Is the FloJo, is that coming back? Is that the Pacers one that's leaked? Is that real?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, I just take all leaks on Twitter.
It's
just like a Facebook post to my dad. That's science. That's the good science.
I understand that, like, John, you and we are the men of a certain age.
Mm-hmm.
These things are programmed for us to like them.
Right.
Like, I feel like I know there's a lot of hardworking designers who are doing this, but I also kind of feel like it's more the computer algorithm that writes hit songs. It's just making up, like, what do these 90 guys want to see? These 90s guys, they want to see the FloJo Pacers jerseys back. The Grizzlies fans, they want to see lettering that reminds them of
now.
Mike Miller.
When you say FloJo, like I see like leggings and stuff. What do you mean by FloJo?
Isn't that what the Pacers call those jerseys?
I don't know. I just saw the new design floating around, and I thought it looked pretty awesome. And then and also I want you guys to tell me if this is the widest jersey a person can get. I'm thinking about getting a Larry Bird Indiana Pacers jersey, but a new one.
That is pretty wide. So no, it is. They're called the Pacers jerseys. Those are called the FloJos, and I have no idea why.
Right.
It doesn't explain to me. It's not. Yeah, it just keeps saying
Florence Griffith Joyner somehow involved. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll let us know.
It's supposed to be based off Florence Griffith Joyner.
And then finally, the Philadelphia 76ers new uniform, which you guys just get to your Twitters, look these up. Just absolutely dazzling. Can't wait to pick up these jerseys. I think I could probably get like a Ben Simmons one for like $13 too. So like, let's do this. But yeah, just this is the first time in probably a decade where it seems like the new jerseys that are coming out are actually appealing to me, and I'm not going to be trying to buy throwbacks for once.
Yeah, my best thing, very brief. We talked about it a little bit last week about the Russell Westbrook, how he was telling Bradley Beal that, like, hey, Bradley Beal, you should demand a trade. You can demand a trade. But some part of that story was in there, Westbrook saying that he didn't really demand a trade from the Wizards. He just told the Wizards, hey, you know what? If it ever comes up, I'd be willing to be traded to the Lakers. Like, if there was a way to get me to the Lakers, because he's from there, he's like, yeah, I would absolutely be excited about that, and no hard feelings. Like, you could definitely do that. And they're like, oh, what about? They're like, well, what about the Clippers? And he's like, no, I wouldn't. So like that was hilarious to me. Russell Westbrook's just like, yeah, you can show me the Lakers. Just I want to be back, be back home. It's where I grew up. And they're like, no, but Clippers.
I love it.
Not interested at all.
In my head, it's like he's like, yeah, I would love to go to LA, and they're like, cool, LA, and then they go and check, come back. Hey,
that
we got a good deal. We could send you to the Clippers. No,
could have been a deal on Dylan Brooks, Marshawn Brooks situation if they weren't careful.
Yeah. Chuck, what's your best thing?
My best thing, as you can see behind me, if you're watching on our YouTube channel, I got Jimmy Butler peeking in. Got a Jimmy Butler piece of art.
I thought that was Grace Jones.
Could be. But it's a small face over my right hand, over my left hand, yeah, my right shoulder. But yeah, Jimmy Butler has come out with a officially made Big Face Coffee a business. He's bought beans.
Oh.
He's setting up in a coffee shop across from another NBA player who has a coffee shop. I don't know. I'm trying to think about the last season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I can't get anything there.
Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, that would have been great. Yeah, Andrew Wiggins is. I would love it. So yeah, Jimmy Butler officially has a business. He's talking about when he retires, he's going to end up working in a coffee shop because that's how much he loves it. He drinks anywhere between 5 to 7 cups of coffee a day, which is insane to me.
Well, which cups are we talking about?
He's talking like espressos. He's talking lattes. He's talking
Ventis.
Are we talking about 8 ounces a cup? Are we talking about an actual mug?
I don't know if he's Ventis. I don't know.
All right.
All I know
Keith, is you need these beans, man. Spice up the breakfast. Get some Jimmy Butler beans.
But I do hope he knows that while he was, selling coffee to trapped millionaires last year and made some money, maybe there are places that you can buy a $20 cup of coffee. Like maybe. But I don't think so. Also, I found out in the bubble, the NBA players got $2,000 a day per diem.
Really?
That was shocking. Yes. These millionaires got $2,000 a day, free hotels.
But per diem when you can't go anywhere.
And they give you all your food.
That's like really baffling to me.
That's a lot of skee ball, baby.
That was the biggest. How many times you can go on It's a Small World for that?
Wow.
Like they couldn't even, that's the thing. They couldn't go in the park.
Exactly.
How do you spend $2,000 trapped in that bubble?
They had a company store.
Don't ask Devin Booker.
Well, I guess no. They had they could order DoorDash or whatever. I mean, yeah, they could order food, but they just had to leave it. I can't remember who was the player who absolutely went outside to pick out
Rashawn Holmes. It was Rashawn Holmes.
No,
right?
it was
player.
It was a King.
It wasn't Rashawn Holmes.
It was not Rashawn Holmes. It was Eddie House.
Eddie House.
There was a Rockets player. There was a Rockets player that did it too, right? No, not Rockets player. Who was it?
No, couldn't.
You guys keep going. I gotta know.
Yeah. Well, so those were our best things. Let's do our opposite of the steak and eggs best thing, the cream of wheat worst thing. What's the worst thing you saw in the last week? Chuck, what's your worst thing?
It was Lou Williams and Rashawn Holmes. Way to go, Chuck.
I told you. Rashawn Holmes.
I think Rashawn Holmes is the only one who got suspended. He got put back into quarantine or whatever because he.
Yeah. Correct.
My worst thing is obviously there's no vaccine. Players aren't getting vaccinated. But the crazy thing that I think is happening, I got a little conspiracy. I think Kyrie. So read today that the owner of the Nets. The Nets have an amazing history of owners who used to do terrible things. They had a Russian oligarch, right? Now they have somebody who's involved with Alibaba, the Chinese Amazon, who was we
don't know. I mean, Joe Tsai, I think one of his partners disappeared for a while because he was criticizing the Chinese government.
There's a lot going on.
I'm not willing to criticize Joseph Tsai, but if you are Chuck Anderson, that's fine.
Yes. Also, let's not forget Jay-Z, who I've seen him murder people in music videos.
Jay-Z's not a real owner, though.
No. You're right. Forgive me. But apparently there's this Panama Papers-esque event going on with Joe Tsai, and I think all this Kyrie stuff is just trying to get the reporters and David Letterman to not pay attention to this is all some wag the dog stuff. This is all I'm saying. It feels very I don't know who's pulling the strings here, and Kyrie's probably in the Illuminati. He is on the executive board of the NBA Players Association, making decisions for the group when he isn't good at making group decisions. But yeah, I'm interested in finding out more about this. And if anybody has anything, I have a tip line. You can call 1-800-FAST-BREAK, and I will take any information that you have.
Chuck, did Facebook going down today kind of poke some holes in that? I felt like you had like the wrapping of a conspiracy, and then we got there. What was the conspiracy? Like there wasn't.
I mean, there's that Kyrie isn't actually. He is pro-vaccine, and he's just making a stink. So all the reports talk about him
as a member of the union. He's making something for the greater good. Distraction.
I can see it. I can see he's distracting. He's distracting everybody and making sure his owner, who I read has $157 million penthouse in New York City.
It's a cost of living is high there, Chuck.
What? How much?
I don't know.
And he didn't want to pay the luxury tax for Spencer Dinwiddie. That's another funny part of the whole thing. He's out here not paying taxes on his income, also won't pay luxury tax.
He's paying lots of luxury tax. I don't feel like he's not cheapening out though.
No, he's not. You're right. He's not paying a lot of luxury tax, but he
also is trying to make sure all WNBA teams get chartered planes. He's like seriously bothered by the fact that they have to fly commercially, and some of these teams in the playoffs, they've had to take teams on separate flights, like teammates on separate flights with like numerous connections. And Josiah's like, listen, I'm incredibly wealthy. I should just be allowed to charter a plane, but it's like illegal because not all WNBA owners have that kind of scratch. And so he's trying to work out a thing. He's getting a charter company to.
Are you out here defending this billionaire who's paying taxes?
Now Keith's the diversionary tactic for Josiah.
Wow, you really bought all in.
I'm just saying, if we're judging him on his
billionaireness,
his ownershipness, as far as willing to spend money on a team, I think he's doing it. Is compared to lots of other NBA owners. Like all billionaires are bad. You want me to say that? Fine. I have no issue with that.
Thank you, Keith.
All billionaires are bad and they got their money in bad ways. But if we're just comparing them for what they're doing for their NBA franchises, Josiah's paying up. He's actually paying. Like this is not what was the oligarch's name? It's slipping my mind right now.
What was his name? Prokhorov.
Prokhorov is like, I will pay whatever it takes for a winner. And they traded all this stuff, and then he got his first luxury tax bill.
I miss the Prokhorov era, though.
He's like, I'm not doing that anymore.
He was like teaching players drills and stuff. God,
and he's like, no, he told Bobby Marks, you need to trade all these players. I can't. I'm not paying this much for Jared Wallace. I convinced Andre Karolinko to pay for under market value, and I still can't afford all this. Please sell everything. John, what's your worst thing?
So we've got a problem here. I've created a conundrum for myself where I've gotten so morally outraged about players refusing the shot or skirting the shot, or players I'm worried about having, being unable to play certain places. But now it's created like a market inefficiency in my gambling world and in my fantasy world where I'm now obsessed with these players. And I feel like I can get them for really cheap on my fantasy teams. And now I'm just going to have all of these guys on my fantasy teams, and all my wagers are going to involve these people. So now I'm inadvertently rooting for these chuds who are skirting all the shots. And I don't know what I'm going to do going forward. And I've really gotten myself in a pickle. It's caused like a lot of existential dread as I put my teams together.
So this is terrible because I've done the same thing.
Yeah,
where we're zagging, where it's like, I'm now gonna get Bradley Beal and Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, in the third round
in every
Buckle
league.
Up.
I mean, in every league, like I'm throwing them out first in the auction draft, and then being like, you know what, I'm gonna get them for cheap.
Because I don't believe these guys are gonna, actually hold like hunger strike or COVID shot strike for the whole season. I think they're gonna get their shot. I think they're gonna play. I can get them on my fantasy team for way reduced price. I have to do this.
So I'm in all the leagues I play in that we have one IR spot.
Yeah.
If there's an IR spot, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
If you're out, if Kyrie misses for 2 weeks, if I can put you on IR, I'm not upset. I can still win on my fan like this. I'm with you. This is the market inefficiency now. It's swung.
Yeah. It's hell.
Yeah, it's I think it's a good strategy because I also have been doing that, eyeing that as well. I'll do my worst thing. This is similar to like finding out where new players are. This is similar to something I saw coming where the preseason I get swayed, I get seduced
You're a summer league guy.
It's like, yeah, I'm a summer league guy, and like
Yeah.
I fall in love with the guys there. And then there's like these new teams. I get so excited about the new teams. It's the shiny new object, the new toy. And there's already teams that I've said, like, you know what? I'm kind of interested in what that's going to be, and I know it's going to backfire on me. And I already feel it happening on Monday night. The Orlando Magic, who I'm like, you know what? They might be kind of fun. What if why can't Gary Harris be good again?
Yeah.
Like Terrence Ross is okay. What if Wendell Carter Jr. is good? And then tonight they're two rookies, they're two lottery picks. They start Jalen Green, they start Wagner, and then alongside him, it's Gary Harris, Terrence Ross, and Wendell Carter Jr. And I see that 5-man unit, and I'm like, this team's going to be good. They're going to be good. I've never seen like Wagner and Suggs play outside of Las Vegas Summer League. I don't know what they are, but I've somehow convinced myself that on paper, this seems perfect. And I know it's going to hurt me somehow. And I'm dreading it. And I wish I could use this foreknowledge. Like, we've done this for so many years. And it seems like we could use the knowledge of our past experiences to change and improve and not go through the same things over and over. But we don't. Just it's the Groundhog Day.
The definition of madness.
It really is. Well, let's do some predictions. We're going to look at the year in its totality. This is, again, before basically the preseason has just started. We're going to try to forecast what we think is going to happen for the major awards, talking about some MVP. We can go ahead and say like who we're going to win the title and any other kind of things, like as far as player props, anything like that we have our eye on, starting with the title. I think this year, I don't think anyone's going out on a limb really and saying anything outside of, it's the Nets, it's the Bucks, it's the Lakers. Is there anyone else that you even would consider that would win the title this year?
Warriors.
So Chuck, I know the Warriors are one of the betting. They're like fifth there. They're essentially like 10-1. And to me, that's shocking because they're nowhere close to the other teams that are actually good. Why? What's your Warriors feel where you could see that?
So one, the super important Andrew Wiggins got a vaccine shot, so that should shoot him way, way up. Their three was, if Clay comes back and he is Clay, even if he doesn't have to, he's probably not going to be as defensively stout as he was. If he's just a catch and shoot monster, that team's going to be better. And I don't know, like they won a championship, the three of them, Draymond, Clay, and Steph. So I know the team's different. I know it's been so long, but like, why wouldn't, if things fall the right way and, injuries happen and things happen to other teams, why couldn't they catch a break and win the title? It wouldn't surprise me.
I saw that Vegas had him as like 10-1 to win the title. And in my mind,
bad odds.
That's like, in my mind, they're like 40-1. Like, I think those are like, I don't think there's any way they're the top 4 team in the West. And I feel like numerous people would have to get seriously injured for like the Warriors to catch at least the Bucks and the Nets. John, what are your thoughts on the title? Is it just, you think it's Nets, Lakers, Bucks, or is there anybody else who could crack it?
I do think it's Nets, Lakers, Bucks, but teams I have my eye on as far as like trying to think of the word to use here, like the long odds teams I like.
Yeah.
I think I think the Nuggets, like, plus 2,200 being like the 10th team. I like that. I like, I think the Suns are going to be really awesome again.
Right. So,
I think, I don't expect the Jazz to win it all, but the teams like the Jazz, Nuggets, and Suns deserve more respect than the Warriors at this point. To me, like, I don't think the Sixers are undervalued to me as well. The Sixers are a team that, like, even with the loss of Ben Simmons, I just think that, if they get the right draw in the playoffs, they can make some noise as well. And it just seems strange to me that Chuck's team, the Warriors, are so high and teams like that are so low. Like, the Nuggets have been like the best team in basketball for like 2 years.
Right.
And just injuries have ruined their postseason.
I think everyone assumes the Nuggets are going to make the playoffs comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm also a little confused why their odds seem to be so low in these places. Because like if they can get to the postseason,
right?
Well, then you're like, if Jamal Murray's back, they're going to be fine.
Yeah, I would understand these odds if they were talking about regular season wins or something like that. But for me to make the finals, which is the odds I'm looking at, pretty, I like the Nuggets there. But yes, you kind of like close the argument by asking the question because I am a Nets Lakers Bucks guy.
Right.
Like,
so I'm really
just a Nets Lakers guy. Like,
so some odds for winning the title. I see Nets plus like about plus 220, Lakers about plus 300, and then I'm seeing Bucks plus 900.
Yeah.
If for entertainment purposes only, I were picking one of those. I mean, the Bucks 9-1 is way more appealing to me.
Sorta, but I mean, I feel like the Bucks needed everything to fall their way for this to happen, and I don't really like the Bucks 900 anymore. If I'm going to take a bet like that, I'll go plus 1,500 with the Suns instead. I'll go plus 1,600 with like my favorite bet's obviously plus 2,200 with the Nuggets. I mean, like the Bucks, I feel like great story, great season, but like I don't see it. It's to me it felt like they were a better version of like the Heat making the finals the year before. It's like everything broke their way.
I was looking at some of these title odds, and as much as Chuck is like he could see a good outcome for the Warriors, I was deeply offended to see the Warriors at plus 1,000 and the Hawks at plus 4,000.
The Hawks are behind the
40-1, and it's like what?
Yeah.
What in the world? I mean,
and I know everyone thinks that performance last year was see-through, and it kind of was, but still, it is like you would think that like they would have some, so there'd be more action on them, but I guess it's just gone the other way.
I guess it's just the action following the big names.
That's another thing. Like when we say all this stuff, Vegas doesn't think anything's going to happen. They're simply reacting to things,
Right. Let's go to the MVP. Which interestingly, the favorite for MVP this year is the same favorite that it was last year. Like Luka was the betting favorite going into last year. I'm seeing him as the betting favorite again this year. It feels like a very wide open field. Like, which players do you guys think? I mean, I don't even think like we need to look at like long shots or anything. Just like who do you think is going to win the MVP? Like Chuck, who do you think next season is going to win the MVP? I think it's totally wide open.
Yeah, I'm not sure who would get it, but I'm narratives always matter. And if Ben Simmons pouts his way out and Joel Embiid brings the Sixers to like the second seed,
yes,
I could see him getting because he was insane last year and could be we could be talking about him for Defensive Player of the Year, as well as somebody who could be, up in, leading in points per game, which always helps with the voters when it comes to MVP stuff. So I think Embiid would be my guy that I would go with.
I'm honestly right there with you. What do you think, John?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked Chuck first, because if you'd asked me first, I would have bowed to Chuck's narrative expertise, because I knew he was going to go with Embiid because it is the clear top narrative. My favorite bet, I'm ready to be screamed at, is Karl Anthony Towns.
Wow. I mean, that's a narrative too.
It's like 25th on the list. If they are like suddenly like a team that competes in the West, I don't see why, if Luka dragging his team to the playoffs merits an MVP, front runner type scenario, and Nikola Jokic can get it just for being the best player on his team that's really good in the West. Like if Karl Anthony Towns, if all they do is change coaches and suddenly this team, which by the way, when Karl Anthony Towns played for the Timberwolves last year, the Timberwolves were good. He was good. If they're suddenly improved in like a sixth, or this is one of the rare instances where I think a team like Jokic last year, a team that you don't necessarily think is going to win the title can win the MVP. Super long shot. I mean, just the fact that it's so far down, I like it.
So Jokic last year when he won the MVP, his preseason odds were about 30-1. And so he was definitely a long shot.
Cats are 100-1.
Hey, I like that. But I mean, we've seen Cat average He averaged 26
30,
and 12, right? I mean, so
Yeah.
if he puts up
But
those kind of numbers and they
I think Jokic getting, doing what he did in the playoffs the year before kind of put him and primed him in a lot of people's minds. Cat's been kind of anonymous for the
Right.
past 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And if you're not an NBA super nerd, you really probably don't know how good he is.
I also believe the power of the coming back from COVID,
Yeah,
had such
I
a
agree.
profound effect on him. The narrative could just get completely a tidal wave of tears, so to speak. But that's my crazy one. I know.
So I found this interesting today. I saw that there are 8 NBA franchises that have never had a player win MVP. And what's that song?
Hmm.
Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage. Yes, a game of scones. Name the 8 NBA franchises that have never had a player win MVP. We'll keep going until one player strikes out, or we have named all 8 teams. Chuck, why don't you go first? An NBA franchise has never had an MVP.
The Atlanta Hawks.
I'm sorry. That is incorrect. Back when they were in St. Louis,
Doesn't count. Come on.
little man named Bob
Boo.
Pettit.
There he is.
Suck it.
This is trash.
So we've ruled out the Timberwolves, right?
Wait.
You said that's how we started it, right? Did we rule out the Timberwolves, Keith?
Is that? It sounds like you're guessing something.
Yeah, it sounds like you're fishing.
Okay,
like
I'll just say Kings.
A little guy named Oscar Robertson.
Oh, dope!
You guys are failing the NBA at 50 and NBA at 75 honorary. Yeah, that was when they were in Cincinnati.
Watch me moonwalk into Charlotte with the Hornets.
The Charlotte Hornets is correct. They have never,
Well done.
despite Brimo Prezic and Gerald Henderson's best work.
The Washington Bullets and Wizards.
Nope.
No.
Artist Gilmore.
No.
Wes Unseld.
Wes
as a
Unseld.
rookie.
I believe.
Yeah.
I don't even know. It was in 1969 when they were the
Yeah.
Baltimore Bullets. At least somebody won the MVP. That is 2 strikes for John. Embarrassing showing.
Going home.
Hey, I'll be real. Didn't think that this one was that hard.
I'm always finding ways to underachieve.
I would like
the
to.
Charlotte Hornets is correct.
I would like to bring up the Memphis Grizzlies.
Oh dear God.
We never did it. We've never done it. That's right. Thank you, Chuck. Yeah. Very obviously, the Grizzlies have never had anyone.
I'll stay on this.
MVP.
Let's go with the New Orleans Pelicans.
The New Orleans Pelicans have never.
Oh, that's an easy.
John.
Gimme.
Good job.
I would like to talk about the Orlando Magic.
The Orlando Magic have never had anyone win MVP. Good job.
Really? Shaqtus? No MVP for Shaqtus?
No. Before his dominance.
I don't think the Clippers have.
Oh, I'm sorry, John. They have.
Olden
Danny
Polynice?
It was when they were the Buffalo Braves.
Oh, is that another Bob Pettit? What's going on here?
No, who would that be? Who's
Bob
their,
McAdoo? Bob McAdoo?
Is he their
Buffalo
famous?
Braves?
Yeah. Bob McAdoo. That's probably him.
McAdoo.
Yeah, that's him. Bob McAdoo. Good job. Sorry, yeah, John, you struck out. Let's keep going.
Just keep hitting me.
We got to do this.
What
4 more.
about-
There's 4 more.
What about the Indiana Pacers?
Yeah.
Correct, Chuck. Good job. The Indiana Pacers have never.
Mavericks?
We got
Did
3.
Dirk get it?
Dirk
Dirk got
won an
it.
MVP. It's like,
Oh, God.
like in your lifetime. That was recent.
Uh,
John, that's a white player. Like, yeah, I
I
know you knew
know.
about that.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
this is horrifying from
this is-
John.
Damn.
Raptors? Give me some Raptors news.
Yes, the Raptors.
The Raptors.
Go on.
Obviously the Raptors.
Go on and win.
Mm,
2 more, both in the Eastern Conference. 2 more.
I don't know. Not the. I said the Pacers.
Yeah. The Pacers was correct.
The Nets?
The Nets is correct.
Oh, nice get.
The Nets
Feels
is correct.
wrong, but was correct.
The only other team we have not gotten yet is the Detroit Pistons.
Whoa.
Never had an MVP.
So many great teams.
Get one? Wow.
So I think this year for the Nets, they've got a good chance though.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think Durant.
You like KD?
I like Harden. I could imagine KD taking some games off, Harden just doing his thing. If I'm guessing Kyrie's not going to be there, if he bounces back, if he leads the NBA in assists or something and has like that 25 points, and I'm also assuming they're going to be probably the best record in the NBA. It's possible.
I don't think people want to vote for him, and I think if you give
That's
them
fair.
an opportunity not to, they won't. I don't think they'll do it. I think he's dead fish.
And you could be you could be right
voting,
there.
right?
Yeah, I think
I do think he's gonna have a huge year, but go ahead, Chuck, sorry.
Yeah, the super duper team thing, and it may be like statistically everybody's kind of in the same neighborhood as far as points go, and it'll hard to point at the person if you're not watching them every night and go, that guy's the best player on that team. If you can't pick the best player on the team, it'll be a hard thing to pick them as MVP.
Yeah, I kind of I don't know.
Keith, are you quaking with fear that Devin Booker is so high on the odds list?
No, I don't think Devin Booker has a very good chance at it. I mean, I'm looking at the favorites as far as I'm seeing him. Luka Doncic is the favorite, and then you got Joel Embiid and Durant tied.
Giannis
second and
is
third,
a good one.
And then Giannis and Steph, and then it goes Dame Lillard, LeBron, Jokic, Trae Young, Devin Booker. I have a hard time seeing a lot of those happen.
Dame Lillard is due if he ignores the trade the trade rumors early and just plays through it and has another insane season like he did, and no one else equals his stats. I mean, I could see it, but
yeah,
again, I still like my terrible.
John, you already
shot.
said your super long shot,
Yeah.
your 100-1 Karl Towns. Chuck, if there's like a longer shot guy that you like, a la Jokic last year, someone who's maybe over like 30-1. I'm talking.
I could
good
see
ones. Kyrie's on that list.
Like
Zion's
Zion,
on that list.
if Zion gets the Pelicans into the playoffs.
I mean, I could see a Jaylen Brown narrative build, maybe.
Whoa!
I mean, sorry, Jason Tatum narrative.
I was like,
I think
Yeah.
If the Celtics end up,
Sure.
New coach, new number, who this, and then you got like a little bit of buzz. Boston's always
well, if
got
he's
people
doing his
talking
30-point per game thing again, I mean, absolutely, he'll be in that conversation.
I mean, he looked incredible for Spurs last year, and I would put him as somebody who he's only 19.
If I had to pick one of those longer shot guys, I'm looking at 40-1 plus 4,000. Paul George.
Yeah,
I can see Paul George without Kawhi Leonard.
That's a great pick.
Just doing crazy numbers.
Yeah,
and also he'll get the steals and the blocks and everything, and the all around game.
Yeah. That's a perfect storm for playoff P to do his thing.
Yeah.
Let me just say this. All right, so we're in Memphis, right? I'm gonna set the scene. We're in Memphis, and Jaren Jackson Jr.'s defensive, in the talks for defensive player of the year, and he's shooting 43% from three. And Desmond Bane is winning the 3-point shootout at All-Star Weekend. John Moran's dropping 12 assists a game, and the Memphis Grizzlies are third in the West. Is Ja in MVP talks?
No.
Good. All right. I just wanted to make sure.
Hey, no. A lot of
he's got better odds than Jimmy Butler now.
As far as these MVP odds that
popular.
I'm seeing, he is 19th.
Yeah,
so
he's a very
19th.
popular player.
So I mean, we
ahead
saw
of Karl Anthony Towns.
We saw him in the postseason average 30 points per game. If
he's done nothing to show me he can do that over prolonged periods of time.
Yeah.
However,
I mean, he did 19-7 last year.
If all those things that Chuck said could come true, that'd be wondrous.
Sure.
But simply just.
But honestly, none of the things Chuck said had to come true except for the Grizzlies find themselves third in the West.
Yeah,
top four in the West, and if he's averaging 24 points per game, if he puts up De'Aaron Fox numbers, he'll actually get the the credit, the recognition. He might have a chance. Let's look at one of these. I love this one because it's impossible to predict. Coach of the year. How can you possibly come up with a preseason narrative for coach of the year? I think
Steve Nash.
I'm going to tie this into so Steve Nash is the favorite. He also was the favorite before last year. Right. Interestingly enough,
I feel like they missed him.
I'm tying this into my Paul George for MVP long shot, Ty Lue. Because you got to have that expectations thing working against you where you're not expecting a whole lot with Kawhi out. I think two guys are set up nicely. I think Ty Lue for the Clippers,
Doc Rivers.
And then I was thinking Mike Malone, if the Nuggets, if they stay in the top 4,
yeah,
in the West,
whoever's missing key cogs,
you got to be missing
really,
some players.
If you are missing cogs, that really helps.
I think this award kind of gets handed out for previous year's work sometimes.
Sure.
And like your status as a coach in the league kind of like is lagging. And a guy like Eric Spoelstra, who's never, and I know him.
You are saying verbatim what you said last year.
Did
episode? Because I listened back to it today to see if we got any of our predictions correct. And you said, I'm talking bullet point by bullet point, talking about the previous season.
He is second in the odds. He is second.
But Spoelstra is high in the odds. Yeah.
But the odds are insane. Billy Donovan is third.
But he's never gotten one, and I think he's one of the most respected coaches in the league. If the Heat can sneak into the second seed, it's
funny
people that way.
Wild Chuck is horribly and demonstrably wrong again. He did make a great point when he brought up that it feels like sometimes they're making up for missing the year, and it feels like Monty Williams should have gotten it. So maybe Monty Williams
should be due. Yeah. If they can hold serve, I guess, just based on what they did last year, if they can just be like top 3 or 4. You feel like he could do it? What if that starting lineup of Jalen Suggs, Gary Harris, Terrence Ross, Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr. exceeds expectations? What if the Magic make the play-in? Then Jamal Mosley.
You're going for that Thibodeau. You're going for that Thibodeau win.
The Thibodeau was out of nowhere last year.
That's the only way to do it. That's the only way to do it.
You talk about guys who get they get recognized a lot. Like, I don't know how many has Carlisle won Coach of the Year? Feels like he would have to. But if the Pacers all of a sudden are good again, that's a guy you like to reward a guy.
That year they won it all with the Mavs. They finished like 3rd or 4th in the East that year, so he probably didn't get it. Although he did, I bet he hasn't gotten it. Because
I think
they were.
He received 1.
Oh, he has? Okay.
If I'm reading this article right, from fanfuelheadquarters.com. I don't know if that
is that an energy drink you've tried yet, Chuck? Fan Fuel?
I thought so. This might be more fun since it's impossible to basically to pick or even predict like Coach of the Year. First coach fired.
Wow.
Now I'm looking at this.
You can look at mine from last year because I'm going to say the same thing.
I think there's only one to even be recognized. It's just Luke Walton, right?
Yes, yes.
Well, but what I think is really weird is I think, honestly, it's more likely no coaches get fired. Honestly, I would give you odds that, like, what are the odds no coach is fired in the regular season? I would put it at like plus 180, like not even long shot. Like, I think it's unlikely because I'm just looking through all the coaches in the NBA. There aren't very many long tenured ones. They're all like basically new hires. So many of the teams aren't expecting to win, and they're not going to fire their coach.
Okay, what about? I'll throw a name out there.
Okay,
the Bulls have done everything they can to become competitive and make a big splash, and if they're not, I could see Billy Donovan getting the axe.
But yeah, just go ahead and fire Billy Donovan.
Yeah,
I can see that. I think you might be right. Like if it's not Luke Walton, I guess you'd kind of have to do like a Billy Donovan. I can't like. Would something
I think guys
weird
like
happen with
Bickerstaff and Borrego, I don't think those guys are like safe. You know what I mean?
Oh, see, I do. I don't
really?
I don't think the expectations are high enough for those guys. Like Doc Rivers, like if Ben Simmons, if all this hadn't happened, then I think he would be on the hot seat. But without Ben Simmons, I don't think he's on the hot seat. And that's I'm not sure their owner, Josh Harris, would pay that atop of his luxury tax to buy out.
What about Terry Stotts?
He
Where's he
gone,
gone?
man.
He's not a coach.
Man. Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, so
he gone.
Oh yeah, Chauncey's there. My bad.
Chauncey, yeah, that was a
So-
big deal.
So I was looking at all these coaches and how there aren't, like a lot of obvious candidates to get fired. Cause like the longest tenured guys, I'm like, most of these guys are in very, very safe positions. And I'm curious, can you guys actually name the 10 most tenured, the longest tenured coaches in the NBA? What's that song?
Dinklage, Peter
Dinklage, Peter Dinklage. So like we lost some of the most tenured guys. I mean, Rick Carlisle, he switched to the Pacers. Terry Stotts is gone. Scotty Brooks is gone. We have new coaches, Willie Green, Wes Unseld Jr., Jamal Mosley. None of those guys are getting fired. Would Jason Kidd get fired in his first year in the Mavericks? I doubt it. But can you guys name the 10 most longest tenured coaches in the NBA? Chuck, you got to go first last time, so we'll let John go first this time.
I'm taking him from you. Spo.
Eric Spoelstra is
All
the
right.
second longest tenured coach in the NBA. Yes, John, correct.
Greg Popovich.
Greg Popovich is the longest tenured coach. 12 years. It was hired 12 years before Eric Spoelstra.
Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr is the third longest. Good job.
Don't say Terry Stotts.
Nick Nurse.
Nick Nurse is the ninth longest
Yeah, I was
tenured
about to
coach.
say he's probably
That
on the
is
list.
correct.
Quinn Snyder.
The fourth longest tenured coach. Good job. Correct.
Michael Malone.
Yeah.
Very good. Matches Malone. Yes. The fifth longest tenured coach.
So I wouldn't have said this, but if Nick Nurse is on the list, I think that means Mike Budenholzer has to be on
Mike
the list.
Budenholzer is seventh. Yes.
Okay.
We're talking. So now we're talking about guys who got
Yeah.
hired. Both
Like
those
in the
guys
last
hired
couple of
in
years.
2018.
yeah.
Yeah. We're talking to guys in their third year.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
James Borrego.
That is well done.
Wow.
Yes.
I wouldn't have gotten that. I think this is the last one I know.
Two more.
Dwayne Casey.
That is correct. He's
No, I think
eighth.
that-
Now we need the 10th most tenured coach.
I think I can get it
I'm
by.
lost.
I think I can get it by reverse engineering. what made
Monty
Keith
Williams?
ask this.
Oh, Monty Williams is 11th.
I think I can. I don't know this answer by virtue of study or knowing anything intelligent, but I think I know Keith well enough that he came up with this game of scones because of Luke Walton. I'm going to say Luke Walton.
Yes.
Ah!
I left that key for you, John.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm glad you read the key.
Jigsaw.
That's I assumed you would solve that. Yes. Luke Walton is the 10th longest tenured coach, having been hired by the Kings in April of 2019. So that just goes to show for me, no one's getting. I don't think like Frank Vogel's not getting fired. Taylor Jenkins is not getting fired. Steve Nash is not getting fired. Like none of these guys. Ty Lue has built an excuse all year. The Rockets aren't firing Steven Silas. The Thunder aren't firing their coach. The Timberwolves aren't firing Chris Finn. I mean, like every one of these guys.
What if Luka just starts crying in practice because Jason Kidd's been mean to him?
Luka has the juice to fire Jason Kidd in year one.
Yes.
So, I guess if you have to come up with someone, I think we're right to say Luke Walton 1 for first coach fired, Billy Donovan number 2, because there's literally no one else to choose from. Then maybe you look to which superstars can get their coach gone. And I would think, probably Luka.
Luka, Trey could turn.
Would they get rid of Nate McMillan already? They made it be.
if anybody could do it.
No way.
Yeah, no.
Nate was so good last year.
He was so good. Let's move on to some of these other awards that are always, I find them the lesser awards to talk about. you have to be nuts to want to gamble on these type of things. But so
I think you bet on Brandon Clark one year though.
Oh, rookie of the year. It was 300 to 1. I don't know.
I've got some Josh Primo real estate.
I don't know how. All right, so let's do rookie of the year. Last year, the favorite won. LaMelo Ball was the preseason favorite. I feel like it's kind of an open race this year. There's a lot of guys who are going to have a lot of opportunity. Yeah. What do you think, John?
It's impossible for me not to just the opportunity there for Jalen Green. I do have a dark horse. Although I guess he's not that much of a dark horse because I think he's fourth in the ranks. But I like Scotty Barnes in Toronto. I think that could be a fun thing to look. I think the opportunity's there as well. I think he'll play guard and he'll play a lot. But just the volume for Jalen in Houston is just nuts. Like the opportunity he's going to have is just crazy. As good as Cade Cunningham is, or could be, Luter in a riot.
Yeah, I see like the top of this draft class, all those guys, these Cunningham and Green, like you said, and then Evan Mobley and Jalen Suggs, they're going to have so much playing time and so much opportunity. I'm not as convinced that Scotty Barnes is going to have that much opportunity. I just don't know what the Raptors are going to do. Like you could be right. I'm saying I literally have no idea. I'm not disagreeing with you. They're just a mystery. Like, are they going to be any good at all? I was watching some of their game on Monday night. In my mind, they could be amazing.
I like the Raptors. I think the Raptors are really good.
Also, like everyone's talking about like Şengün, who like they're saying
Şengün could eat into Green stuff, and that would be rough on my pick. But I don't know. It's just you don't get an opportunity to bet on a guy who's going to shoot this much in his rookie year often. You really don't.
Chuck, do you have any leanings for this? I know we loudly proclaim we don't know anything about the rookies until we start playing basketball.
No,
but looking at their circumstances, are there any that you? Cunningham is the betting favorite, and then Jalen Green is second. I would almost think Jalen Green, like John said, he's going to put up more points. I think Cunningham is going to be more subtle, subdued, but who knows?
I've watched 0 minutes of any of them play so far. It'll be probably 2 months into the season before I see highlights. I'm going to keep my mouth shut here.
That's
fine. Let's do 6-man then.
Yeah. 6-man is the one that it's just Jordan Clarkson again. I don't feel comfortable. That's no fun.
Let's talk about Tyler Hero, guys.
Again?
There it is.
So
I think you let the 6-man Kenny Nunn leave.
I gotta like, am I gonna have to do the work and splice in last year's show with this year's show? Probably not, but someone should do that.
Hey, look, a broke clock is right twice a day. If I just keep saying it, one year, being prescient.
I thought someone like Miles Bridges could maybe win 6-man of the year.
Yeah.
But then also, this is like me already getting my brain ruined by watching 5 minutes of preseason basketball. He started and PJ Washington came off the bench. So like,
that's what I wanted to talk about.
So is PJ Washington the 6-man?
I look at the list online, and all these people seem like starters to me.
A bunch of them are starters. Like I tried to ignore it. I felt like I do feel like Derrick Rose again. If the Knicks are good, he'll definitely be in there.
Schroeder could be back in the race.
Yeah. Like Schroeder on the Celtics is probably going to be definitely in the race. You would think one of the Lakers players. I don't know who's going to be coming off the bench. Like I think there's a chance.
Taylor Horton Tucker.
I mean, it could be him, but I'm thinking just like your Kenny Nunn, or if it's Malik Monk, like one of those guys. If it's filling up,
Malik Monk.
If Billy Donovan isn't fired and the Bulls are playing well, like I think Kobe White just with big points off the bench.
What about rolling back the playoff momentum of one Bobby Portis?
Hey, that's a great one. Portis. I don't know.
I got one.
Yeah,
Patty Mills.
Oh yeah,
Patty Mills on the Nets. I feel like the Nets are going to much like
around too much.
Well, yeah, much like Harden and Durant are going to maybe cannibalize themselves in the MVP race. That there's going to be too many dudes on that team.
Yeah. Keith, maybe you know this. I have always, just watching basketball, I've always thought Jalen Brunson was like incredible 6-man, like exactly what you think of, microwave off the bench. I don't know if he's ever gotten any traction at all, but that's a guy I've always thought.
Yeah, I have him written down on my list
right on.
of guys that I was considering. So I do think he's a perfect 6-man candidate. If the Mavericks are any good,
Is Shake Milton going to start?
I don't know. See, I don't know what they're going to do as far as like the Sixers in the rotation. I don't trust Shake Milton. I mean, not compared to like Jalen Brunson or Schroeder or Derrick Rose or Ingles or Jordan Clarkson. Like
Lou Williams still exists.
Lou Williams still exists. Honestly, somebody on that, like, could Gallinari?
Well, I think Kevin Huerter here is second on my list, which seems insane to me.
I hadn't even wow.
But I didn't really. That's what got me. That's what got the Bobby Portis thing going with me. I was just thinking because that has to be a playoff momentum thing.
I would not do that. That seems like a terrible idea.
I would delete that.
Yeah. Do not. I would say, what about? I mean, we dedicated a show to him 2 weeks ago. Could Larry Nance Jr. get a little momentum?
Hey,
on the Trailblazers.
What about one of the two Cams in Phoenix?
They're up here, man. They're on this list.
The underpaid campaign.
I like that.
Yeah.
Payne or Johnson. I like that.
I have a hard time seeing those guys putting out the production. Like I want to be, I want to be all homer and try to come up with like a Grizzlies angle.
The only one on the list I have in front of me is Brandon Clark.
Well, Brandon Clark, based on his rookie year, was like fringe 6-man guy. Like you could make a legitimate case for him.
I thought he was
like,
Sean Kemp his rookie year,
like fifth or sixth. Yeah. But no, I think if I had to choose one for 6-man, I think Schroeder is probably the one I would go with. Now looking at all these names, maybe Schroeder first, and for me, like Brunson second, Derrick Rose third.
That could be destroyed so easily but Schroeder could start.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do I think they're gonna do the Marcus Smart, and then all the big dudes. No, like Brown, Tatum, maybe Horford and Time Lord, like something huge. Yeah, I don't know, but you're right. We haven't seen exactly what they're gonna start with. Do you guys want to pick make it official?
I don't have an opportunity like this again in my career, so I will take the Alex Caruso 6-man of the year pick. Your turn, Chuck.
Wow.
I don't know if you've
Tyler Hero.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if you've guys seen Tyler Hero's legs, but he's been doing squats. He's gained weight. I would go all in. Bet the farm on the old Tyler boy.
My official pick, by the way, is Derrick Rose. Before let's write that down.
let's wrap up on most improved player, which is always a very squirrely, weird category. I had a bunch of like deep cuts
impossible
ready for this.
For me. I don't understand how to do it.
And
I look at the names and it's like all stars.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. So I looked at the names and like all like the recent ones, they're all stars, like huge all stars. And it's like, like Giannis and Julius Randle and Brandon Ingram and Siakam, CJ McCollum. It's like, these are very, very good players. McCollum's not an all-star, but he's really, really good. Yeah. So like that kind of like really slowed my momentum down, trying to come up with one. Like, I feel like if I want to be a homer here,
there's a Grizzly that you can actually pick.
I feel like Jaren Jackson Jr. is a great one.
Yeah.
And like, I see the Vegas odds, he's like plus 1,600, but then I'm like, how many points would he have to score to even win the award? Like, would he have to be a legit all-star, like average like 22 points per game or something?
I think I have a good one here.
Okay.
And it's going to be wrong, but I think it's good. Derek White. I've watched the Spurs a lot. They're going to be my side piece team this year. Derek White has been the best player on the Spurs for some time, and just like tragic circumstances or DeMar DeRozan playing his position have gotten in the way. I think Derek White could really bounce back and have a big, have that kind of splashy most improved players type story.
Yeah. I'd almost lean someone, if we're going with the springboard theory off the finals, I would see DeAndre Ayton coming out with a 20-10 season next year.
Although he already pretty much does that. Like
he really does. Yeah.
Lose because if you look at the list, like the odds, it's SGA, it's Zion, it's Michael Porter Jr., it's Zach LaVine.
Michael
Christian
Porter
Wood. It's like players who are already amazing.
Michael Porter Jr., I know he's one of the favorites, and that makes a lot of sense to me. I could see him averaging 25 points per game this year, especially without Jamal Murray there. And if he makes his first All-Star game,
what am I doing?
Then he wins. But he was one of the favorites last year. He was the favorite most improved player going into.
I can't wrap my head around this because to me, like he's already arrived. Like he did it. He was that guy at the end of last year, so he shouldn't be eligible for.
He's still inconsistent.
Yeah.
There's still times that the Nuggets are like, let's pull him off the court. So
God, he was so good at the end of last year, though, like outrageously good.
So hear me out.
Yeah,
hear me out. Right, Toronto's balling. Toronto ends up top 4 in the East. Nick Nurse does a great job coaching. Fred VanVleet is their engine, the guy who gets them there, who ties the room together. I could see him. He's already got the bag. I could see him becoming the guy that people talk about when they talk about the Raptors.
I mean,
if that's the case,
it's not bad. That also ties into the fact that, in my mind, the Raptors could be amazing.
Yeah.
Because Pascal Siakam's already been most improved player. You have OG Anunoby. I thought you were going to say OG Anunoby.
I thought he was going to say Chris Boucher.
And Chris Boucher could have won it last year.
My guy.
Like they have all these people. They have all these people. Fred VanVleet is great, and it's just weird. It feels like this award is sometimes that we've now recognized this guy's good. Like I think Randall was one where he took maybe an unexpected leap, where he performed much better than most people thought he could. Even though I'll always say his per minute production basically the same. I know the narrative changed. They started winning in New York, but
you just played more.
Like that was his per 36, like based on other years.
Keith, I know you want to get out of these props, but I did have one of my own.
What do you got? What do you got?
So usually we have the MVP, which let's be honest, it's a little boring every year. So I've got a new MVP, most vaccinated player.
Hey now,
the player who due to like comorbidities or something like that has to get the most boosters over the course of the season. I have some candidates for you guys. I think Joel Embiid, because of his early onset Shirley Temple driven diabetes, probably needs Mo boosters Mo often. LaMarcus Aldridge has something wrong with him. He keeps retired. He just retires. He appears, reappears. And then I think whoever the fattest player is, which unfortunately is Zion Williamson.
Is it Zion?
He is the fattest player technically his body mass index is the highest of any player in the NBA.
Oh, I remember that.
He is one of 2 players who qualifies as obese in the entirety of the NBA. And this segment does remind me of a little tune that we like to sing from time to time.
Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage. You got a game of scones.
Game of scones, fat fatties edition. Gentlemen, I have in front of me a list of the fattest, either by weight or by body mass index player on each team. Whatever you guys get to pick the team, and you have to name the fattest player on the team, either by weight or body mass index. We're playing by collegiate rules. 5 fouls and you're out. Chuck, I think you've won like every game of scones for like 10 episodes in a row. So I'm going to let Keith go first. Keith, pick a team and tell me the fattest fatty, the one with the comorbidity who needs the shot the most.
I'll do the Grizzlies.
Okay.
I'll say I'm saying heaviest player.
I can be heaviest, or it can be by body mass index. I have that in front of me.
Okay,
also.
I'll go heaviest. Steven Adams.
Okay, I'm actually gonna have to do some quick jumping around here because my lists are from last year, but I'll find Steven Adams. I just need to scroll over, see if he's bigger. I know he's going to be the heaviest, so I'm going to go ahead and give you that correct answer. I'm just going to check it while Chuck, you pick a team. Okay.
I'm going to go with Zion Williamson. Easy peasy.
Oh, Steven Adams is indeed. You have to pick a different player, Chuck. I already said he was the fattest, so it's okay. You also can't. You can say the other fattest player. I don't think I said who the other one was, but you need to pick a team. So Pelicans are out. But yeah, Steven Adams is correct. Chuck.
Let's go with Marcus Smart.
So you're saying the Boston Celtics?
Boston Celtics. Marcus Smart.
Deeply wrong. And also
I'm sitting here in stunned silence. Like
I just don't know how this works. None of them are fat.
Pick a team, and you just have to do the heaviest player or the player with the highest body mass index. And it's not Marcus
heaviest.
Smart.
Okay. Time Lord.
And listen, it's still wrong. And Marcus Smart does qualify as overweight, but there's two guys fatter than him, both by pounds and by body mass index. Taco Fall is the heaviest player.
Not on the Celtics.
NBA. Not on the Celtics.
But actually, I think you may be right because is Semi Ojeleye also gone?
Not on the Celtics.
Chuck, you are correct. Marcus Smart is the fattest player on the Celtics now.
He weighs more than Enes Kanter.
His body mass index is 27.5. Enes Kanter's is 25.7. Well done. Well done. If you get either body mass index or weight, you get it right.
Okay.
Pick a team.
I'll do the Spurs. I'm going to say the heaviest Spur is Jakob Poeltl.
Oh. I'm going to give it to you. I can't give it to you. Sorry, Keith. He's tied with Drew Eubanks.
Drew Banks.
But Drew Eubanks' body mass index makes him overweight, and Jakob Poeltl is at normal. I can't do it, Keith. I'm sorry.
Wait, he's tied for the heaviest?
That's the first foul. He's technically 1 pound less, and he doesn't have and he has the fattier body mass index. But it's so close. I like where your head is at. That's I'm gonna go. So we've got one foul for Keith. That's it.
I'm gonna go to Brooklyn. Give me James Harden.
Oh, please be correct.
Sorry, I don't care if it is or not.
I know.
It feels right. It feels right.
Sorry, I got to do a little scrolling. James Harden, body mass index, is indeed the fattest player on the Brooklyn Nets. Well done, Chuck.
Yes.
Man, Joe Harris, body mass index, got to work it out, though, a little bit more. All right, Keith, your turn.
Let's do the Phoenix Suns. I'm going to say the heaviest Sun is DeAndre Ayton.
Let's get there. Correct, Keith. Chuck, back to you.
I'm going to go to Charlotte, and I'm going to say Vernon Carey Jr.
Wow. Love it.
That guy was the biggest guy in Summer League.
His dad was an offensive lineman.
270 pounds. Over, and Bismack Biyombo's not a small man. That's correct.
Chuck.
Back to you.
Proud.
Let's do the Timberwolves. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Who are their big guys? Is it Naz Reid?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Fatty, the double. Not only is he 264 pounds, a body mass index of 28.29, a full 3 points higher than anybody else on the team. Well done, Keith. I might have to move to 3 strikes you're out because you guys are crushing this game. Back to you, Chuck.
I'm going to go to the Knicks. What's up with Taj Gibson?
Oh, he doesn't seem
checking the body mass index. No, that's incorrect.
No.
This is a double again for not only is Julius Randle the fattest
traditionally,
but also through the body mass index, a big feller. So that's a strike for each of you now. Back to you, Keith.
Yeah, we got to wrap this up. I mean,
pick a team.
I'll do the Thunder.
Ooh.
I'm going to go for body mass.
Okay.
I'm going to try Dort.
He's densest.
The densest.
You are officially too good at this game because that is correct. Body mass index highest on the team by quite a lot, actually.
Let me go to Philly. I'm going to go to the Philadelphia 76ers, and I'm going to go to JoJo Bean, Joel Embiid.
It's got to be right. I'm scrolling.
Well, I would guess Drummond.
Ooh, I forgot Drummond.
No, it's Joel Embiid by a lot. He is 280 pounds.
How much is Drummond?
Almighty, that is insane. Drummond's 258.
Keith, wow. Do you want a truce? We'll share victory here.
Yeah, let's share victory.
Okay, let's do
the show.
Let's declare a victory about it. Who is the second fattest player by body mass index in the entire league? I'm only giving this to Keith because maybe Keith can get it. I'm going to give him a hint. He's on the Jazz.
Wait, by body mass?
Yeah, he's also 280 pounds. He's really fat.
280 pounds on the Jazz?
Only other obese player than Zion on the list.
Oh. Is it Hassan Whiteside?
Udoka Azubuike.
Oh, he's the guy they drafted, I think, last year.
He's the guy
Jayhawk. I mentioned like 2 weeks ago. I was like, they drafted some guy. I don't know his name. Wow.
The Jazz are incredibly fat. Listen to this. Azubuike, 280 pounds. The departed Derek Favors, 265 pounds. Rudy Gobert, 258. And then the body mass indexes of guys like Georges Niang, Juwan Morgan. Good God. Joe Ingles, get it together, my friend. Donovan Mitchell is 29.16 body mass index.
Is it just they weigh more because they're at elevation? Does gravity pull them down?
All these men are elite athletes in perfect condition. I just love being able to finally call them fat.
Yeah. Well, I guess
give
thanks
it to
for
Chuck.
that. I feel weird thinking.
Keep Chuck again.
Yeah, I think we called a truce on that one. Anyway, let's get out of here. Let's do a little awards segment of the program. This is in preparation for the International Stackhouse of Pancakes Negative Fantasy Basketball League, which will draft on Sunday, October 17th. If you want to play in a negative fantasy league, you have to be a Patreon supporter. Sign up at patreon.com/Fastbreak Breakfast. Fill out that Google form. It's at the top I believe it's pinned to the profile at patreon.com/Fastbreak Breakfast. But for today's awards ceremony, this is the last one before I have actual bad box scores to look through. I am going to list off the 10 best International Stackhouse of Pancakes negative fantasy players from last season based on points per game. This is negative fantasy points average per game from 10 to 1. Our countdown. Number 10, Teo Maledon of the Thunder. Number 9, Avery Bradley, the 9th best/worst player in our negative fantasy league. Number 8, Garrett Temple. Number 7, Michael Carter-Williams. Number 6, who I think should maybe be the first pick in this year's negative fantasy draft, Pokashevsky. Maybe a little more opportunity this year. Number 5, his teammate Lou Dort. Our top 4 worst/best negative fantasy players last year. PJ Tucker at 4th, Killian Hayes at 3rd, Isaac Okoro at 2, and on a per game basis, the worst player in the NBA/the best player in our negative fantasy league. I'm sorry, this went to you. I like your game, Cam Reddish, but you gave your owner 25 points per game in negative fantasy points when you played last year. So those were the top 10 negative fantasy scores from our special exclusive iShop Negative Fantasy League. If you want to play, join us at patreon.com/Fastbreak Breakfast. Also, go to grindcitymedia.com today for the most up-to-date and exclusive coverage and analysis of the Memphis Grizzlies you can get. Grind City Media is always there, home and road, providing the most comprehensive Grizzlies coverage. Plus, you can get your local and regional sports fix from Tigers football, basketball, SEC, and HBCU news. It's all in one spot. For more information and behind the scenes access, visit grindcitymedia.com or follow on Twitter at Grind City Media today. All right, par fadeaway, gentlemen. What things are we looking forward to?
Well,
go ahead, Jeff.
I've been devouring the Way Down. It is the documentary about the Remnant cult in Nashville.
Remnant is not
Remnant, not Remnant. Remnant. It's late.
The Oscar-winning film, The Revenant.
The Revenant. Yeah, it's incredible. The details and the story behind these characters is insane. The hair. No, they should do a whole episode on her hair. Shout out Gwen Shamblin, who's now dead and died in a.
These were the
these people did not patch Keith's tire.
This story I started watching it. This is in our backyard. I mean, like this is in all of our backyards. I watched the first 25 minutes. I am I'm very disappointed so far. But I don't know.
It gets better, bro.
Obviously,
Just
reserving
chill.
judgment. The first 25 minutes are all like, "Hey, look at these people," which is not how I like to do a documentary. Like, give me some actual morsels of things.
Oh no, it comes, brother.
Okay.
The second episode,
Good.
it starts flooding.
All right.
By the third, it's morbid and dark.
The first story was some kids crying that their daughter joined a church, and I was like, "That's not compelling."
No, it gets better. It does get better. And there's an actor involved and a grifter, and
the confessionals, like the confessional people. This is like when everyone is like they're in Nashville or in Brentwood, which is just south of Nashville. Like I assume eventually I'm going to know some of these people. Like I'm surprised where it's like, and it's people I don't know.
I know quite a bit about it. I'm not going to watch the documentary. I don't need to. I just feel like I'm.
Because like
I can just ask somebody.
I've known lots about it. Where I want to see this new documentary to see exactly what all the details are. My part fade away. I mean, boys, it's here. I mean, the Grizzlies play on Tuesday. All these teams are playing their real lineups. I mean, will preseason games like cause some of these immovable objects to get moved? Like, will we now maybe see some of the trade front? Will it just be this, we're going to withhold all of Ben Simmons' salary and, we'll wait till later in the year? But this is like it, I guess. It's just all the basketball. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if that's cheating by taking everything. I pick everything.
Okay.
I pick everything.
That's my specialty is pivoting when you take it all. If you thought you were going to get out of here without hearing my favorite prop bet of the year on this episode, man. We talked about such things. DeMar DeRozan over 4.5 rebounds a game.
Oh, I love it.
Guy's been playing out of position for a few years. He's every other place he's played forward. He's averaged over 7 rebounds a game. Let's get back to that number, DeMar. That's my pick.
Here's my favorite one, John.
Yeah.
Minus 250. Jonathan Isaac will not get vaccinated by November 1st. That's free money. That's free money. He's hurt. So
that's right.
So he's not even going to play.
Yeah.
He's not going to get vaccinated in the next month.
I'm going to do this right now.
Yeah. I don't understand. Like there are some of these guys who I'm like, oh, that guy's making a principled stand, which is Jonathan Isaac. I'm like, he's not. Like, I believe in him.
Let's take principle off of there, but I got you.
It's a principled stand. Like Bradley Beal sounded like a person who was confused.
Sure.
Like Jonathan Isaac, like, no, that guy knows what he believes.
He's like,
here's the thing. I'm gonna put my money where his mouth is. So that is the full episode for tonight. If you want to support our show, do that at patreon.com/Fastbreak Breakfast. If you want to play fantasy basketball with us, go to patreon.com/Fastbreak Breakfast. You also get exclusive bonus content when you sign up and do that. You can follow us on Twitter at Fastbreak Break, on Instagram at Fastbreak Break. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You guys are the best. Thanks for listening. And remember, breakfast is the most important thing.